Now, the Ukrainian government says it will not agree to any peace deal or even a ceasefire with Moscow if it involves giving up any of its territory. Senior advisor to President Zelensky says making any concessions would backfire because Russia would only escalate attacks in the future.
In the Donbass, diplomacy feels a distant prospect. Russian forces are advancing towards the strategic city of Severodonetsk, trying to encircle the Ukrainian defenders. Heavy artillery and overwhelming force, which eventually won them the ruins of Mariupol, still their tactic. A senior advisor to Ukraine's president says only force of arms will end this conflict.
It's a life sentence for Vadim Shishimarin, a 21-year-old Russian soldier who killed a 62-year-old man in a northern Ukrainian village on the 28th of February. Vadim Shishimarin had pleaded guilty, but his defense attorney, who was appointed by the Ukrainian state, had said that certain circumstances should be taken into account, notably the fact that there were 4 other Russian soldiers with him in the car that they were traveling through this village in, who were putting a great deal of pressure on him, calling him to shoot the man and threatening him. Also the fact that they had recently come under fire from Ukrainian soldiers, these Russian soldiers, and so this young man may have felt under pressure, and perhaps that could have led to some leniency.
President Biden has said he would be willing to use force to defend Taiwan and that the US stands with other nations to make sure China cannot use force in the region. Speaking at a news conference in Tokyo, he added that China is flirting with danger in Taiwan by flying close to the island.
The United States is committed. We've made a commitment. We support the One China policy. We support all that we've done in the past. But that does not mean that China has the ability, the jurisdiction to go in and use force to take over Taiwan. So we stand firmly with Japan and with other nations not to let that happen.
Now, the leaders of India, United States, Australia and Japan are all set to meet for the second in-person Quad Leaders Summit in Tokyo, in one of the region's most important foreign policy summits of the year. The talks will aim to maintain a free and open Indo-Pacific, and discussions will center around the economic and security interests of the Pacific and Indian Oceans. To this end, the Quad countries are expected to launch a satellite-based maritime initiative aimed at curbing illegal fishing in the Indo-Pacific region. Reports also say that maritime initiative will use satellite technology to create a tracking system for illegal fishing from the Indian Ocean to the South Pacific.
In Iran, an officer of the powerful Revolutionary Guard was shot dead outside his home in Tehran Sunday. Such high-profile killings are extremely rare, and Iran is blaming his, quote, assassination on assailants linked to the United States and its allies, including Israel.
Well, Syed Khudai is a high-ranking official within the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, and one of the communiques put out by the Iranian regime after this assassination took place, describing him as a defender of the sanctuary, means that he is just that, a member of what has been described by the United States as a terrorist organization.
On Sunday, at least 4 people were confirmed dead in the latest building collapse in the Lagos Island area. The bodies were recovered from the rubble after an edifice collapsed on Saturday in Nigeria's economic capital. 5 people have been rescued so far, and emergency workers continue to search for survivors. Quoting the Zonal Southwest Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, local media reported that the 3-story building crumbled due to heavy rainfall. The building had been sealed off earlier because work violated safety regulations, but the developer didn't respect the interdiction, according to the BBC.
How many enemies does Israel currently have that have a sea border? Well, that would be Lebanon. Israel is looking north and saying, Hezbollah is gaining power. They are an Iranian proxy, and the time is quickly coming that a confrontation with Iran could very well be on the agenda. If there's a wide-scale confrontation with Iran, chances are they're going to strike using their proxies in Lebanon. Now, the quickest way to disable a proxy force in Lebanon is to strike at the capital. If you're going to hit the capital in Lebanon, if you're going to hit Beirut, you can either go over a few hundred miles of ground territory, which is fortified by Hezbollah artillery, their various rocket forces, their anti-tank missile systems that they've built up for decades, or you can strike from the sea, hitting Beirut directly in a matter of hours with a seaborne landing craft.